I was 15 when this happened. Even now, years later, I can't walk near a boardwalk after sunset. Because every time I hear waves crashing, I remember the sound that answered back. It was the last weekend of summer. I had gone for an evening run along the beach while my parents were eating at a nearby restaurant. The boardwalk was almost empty. Most tourists had already gone home. Only a few lights were still glowing. As I reached the end of the wooden walkway, I reached into my pocket, and froze. My house keys were gone. I checked every pocket. Nothing. I knew exactly where I had dropped them. A few minutes earlier, I had stopped to tie my shoe near a loose wooden plank. If the keys slipped through the gap, they'd be underneath the boardwalk. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. There was just enough space to climb down. It smelled like wet wood, salt water, and something rotten. The beams above me blocked almost all the light. My footsteps echoed through the darkness. I kept telling myself, it's just a set of keys. Then I saw them. They were lying only a few feet away. I smiled. Too easy. I reached toward them, then, I heard another sound. Not water. Not wind. A slow scrape. Like someone dragging their shoes across the sand. I looked up. Nothing. Only darkness. I picked up the keys. That's when I heard breathing. Close. Way too close. I swung my flashlight toward the sound. For just a second, I saw a pair of legs disappear behind one of the wooden supports. Someone else was down there. My heart started pounding. I called out, "Hello." No answer. Only silence. Then, one slow footstep. Another. Whoever it was walking toward me. I turned around and hurried back the way I came. But every time I sped up, the footsteps sped up too. I stopped. They stopped. I started running. So did they. I could hear them getting closer. Closer. Then, a hand shot out from behind one of the beams. It barely missed my hoodie. I screamed and sprinted toward the opening. My knees slammed against the wood as I climbed back onto the boardwalk. I never looked behind me. I ran all the way to my parents' car. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? A week passed. I tried to forget it. Until one morning, I opened my front door. Lying on the welcome mat, was an old dirty shoelace. The exact one I had used to mark the place where I climbed underneath the boardwalk. I had never brought it home. Someone else did. Someone who now knew, exactly where I lived. The police never found out who was hiding beneath that boardwalk. But I never went back. And every time I lose my keys, I leave them exactly where they are. Because sometimes, some things aren't worth going back for. Have you ever felt someone watching you, even when nobody was there? I used to run every evening. Same route. Same headphones. Same empty boardwalk. It was peaceful. At least, that's what I thought. One cold October evening, the sky turned dark much earlier than usual. The ocean was almost silent. No tourists. No families. No music. Just me, and the sound of my shoes hitting the wooden boards. About 10 minutes into my run, I noticed someone standing far behind me. A tall figure. Completely still. I didn't think much of it. Maybe another runner. Maybe someone enjoying the view. So I kept going. A minute later, something felt wrong. I looked back again. The person was closer. Much closer. But, I never heard footsteps. That made my stomach drop. I slowed down. The figure stopped. I started running again. It started moving again. Every single time I turned around, it froze. Like a statue. Like it didn't want me to see it move. My heart was racing now. The boardwalk stretched for almost a mile. There was nowhere to hide. No stores. No lights. Just endless water and darkness. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Seriously? I laughed nervously. This can't be real. Then, I heard something. Not footsteps. Breathing. Heavy, slow, right behind me. I spun around. Nothing. The figure was over 50 feet away. Standing perfectly still. I couldn't understand it. Then I remembered, the boardwalk had cameras. If anything happened, someone would see. That thought gave me enough courage to keep moving. I ran faster. My legs burned. My chest hurt. The parking lot was finally in sight. My car was there. Relief washed over me. Until, I noticed someone standing beside it. My blood turned cold. It was, the same figure. Impossible. There was no way they could have gotten there before me. I looked back toward the boardwalk. Empty. The person behind me was gone. I blinked. The figure beside my car was gone too. I unlocked my car as fast as I could. Jumped inside. Locked every door. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. As I started the engine, something tapped the driver's window. Tap. 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 I slowly turned my head. Nothing. Just darkness. I drove away without looking back. The next morning, I checked the security cameras at the parking lot. The manager agreed to help. The footage showed me running toward my car. Completely alone. No one behind me. No one beside my car. Nothing. Then, right before I opened my door, the camera glitched for 2 seconds. When the picture came back, there was a tall shadow, standing exactly where I had been. Looking directly into the camera. After that night, I never ran on that boardwalk again. Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't being chased. It's realizing, whatever was following you, never needed to run. Some places look completely normal, until one small decision almost gets you killed. This happened to a 22-year-old college student during a beach vacation. They only wanted to use a public bathroom. But someone inside had been waiting. It was late afternoon. The boardwalk was almost empty. Most tourists had already gone home. The wind carried the smell of salt water. Everything felt peaceful. Almost too peaceful. The student had been walking for hours. They were tired. Their phone battery was nearly dead. Then they noticed an old public restroom near the end of the boardwalk. It looked abandoned. But the lights inside were still on. They hesitated for a second. Then walked in. That decision changed everything. Inside, the building was strangely quiet. No footsteps. No voices. Just the buzzing sound of old lights. Every stall door was open, except one. Locked. Someone was inside. Or so they thought. The student ignored it. They washed their hands. Then, a loud bang echoed from the locked stall. Not one bang. 3. Bang. 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 Then silence. Their hearts skipped a beat. "Is someone okay?" they asked. No answer. Only silence. As they turned to leave, the main entrance door suddenly slammed shut. Hard. They froze. The wind wasn't strong enough to do that. Slowly, they reached for the handle. It wouldn't move. The door was locked. From the outside. Or, someone was holding it. Their breathing became faster. Then, they heard footsteps. Not outside. Inside. The footsteps came from behind. Slow, heavy, getting closer. But when they looked, the hallway was empty. No one. Then, another sound. The locked bathroom stall slowly creaked open. The student stared in horror. The stall was empty. Completely empty. So, who had been banging? Panic took over. They pulled on the exit door with all their strength. Nothing. Then they heard breathing. Very close. Not behind them. Not in front of them. Right beside their ear. A cold whisper said, "Don't leave yet." They spun around. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Then, the lights went out. Everything became black. For a few terrifying seconds, they couldn't see their own hands. Only breathing. Someone else's breathing. Moving closer. Closer, then, the lights suddenly came back. Standing near the exit, was a tall man wearing a dark hoodie. His face hidden. He wasn't speaking. He wasn't moving. Just staring. The student screamed. The man slowly reached into his pocket. Their mind raced. Was it a weapon? A knife? Something worse? Instead, he pulled out a ring of keys. He smiled. A slow, unnatural smile. Then he quietly said, "You're not supposed to be here." Adrenaline exploded. The student kicked the door with everything they had.